Man, oh man. So I guess supposedly, Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua is official once again for like the third or the fourth time in the last 9 months. Um, we can get straight to the point. Is that fight gonna happen? Absolutely not. You know, and the whole point of putting information out like this is just that fans understand what's the reality of what's actually going on, and so they're not getting the hopes up or getting hyped up over BS fights that aren't even going to happen, you know. And the parties know it's not going to happen. Um, Eddie Hearn likes to, keep things like this going, just due to the fact he has this philosophy of he believes that you should try to keep your fighters in the limelight as much as possible. You don't have to necessarily put on the fights that people want. You have to keep dangling that carrot or talking about, the fighters that, you just have somebody connected to your fighters where you can speak about them, whether it be positive or in a negative light, and just keep the talk going, keep the talk going, keep the talk going, keep the talk going. That's what he believes in, and I'm not sure, I'm not from the UK, so I don't know if that, train of, thought of way of doing things works in the UK, but I do know that in the United States it doesn't work. Um, doesn't matter how much people are talking about you on social media. It doesn't translate to you all of a sudden getting all these, fans or all this high viewership when it comes to the actual fights and when it comes to people actually watching you when you fight. You know, Anthony Joshua's talked about it on a regular basis, but he doesn't get viewerships like that at all when he fights in the United States. You're talking like 300,000 views in like, his bigger fights. That's it. People don't watch him like that. Tyson Fury, he fought against Deontay Wilder, but when he had his fights against other people in the United States, no one showed up basically, and his viewership was trash. That's just what it was. Um, when it comes to this situation, it's just the same type of thing. They want to keep Anthony Joshua's name out there, and Anthony Joshua's not transcribing to this BS. He's not getting involved in all this BS. He's like, F that. You want to do that? You go ahead and do that. I'm not getting involved in all that bullshit. He's pretty much just kind of staying in the cut, waiting for whatever next move is going to happen. I'm not sure if, with the Tyson Fury, if him it's the same type of thing, or if it's a situation where they're telling him, hey, no, we can really actually get you this fight or whatever, and he's actually believing it. So I'm not going to speak on that part because I'm not sure what his thought process is. As it pertains to that, I just do know that he does not want to fight. He does not want to fight Deontay Wilder next. As far as this fight's concerned, until you hear that judge that's doing the mediation between him, Deontay Wilder, and Tyson Fury, until you hear him say something, Tyson Fury's not fighting anybody else. Okay? Tyson Fury's not signing, no one is signing an actual real contract for their fighter to face Tyson Fury. Anyone of that's known. No one's doing it. Just because you're not going to tie yourself to a fighter that you might not be able to even fight, because it could be completely shut down and held back, from a court of law. So you don't want to tie yourself in where now you're forced to sit there and wait for this judgment to be made, you know what I mean, before you can fight again. If another opportunity comes up, whatever it might be, you're not going to tie yourself in like that. It's not going to happen. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. No one's doing it, especially somebody over high profile like an Anthony Joshua. Just like Eddie Hearn said a couple of months ago, man, Tyson Fury, man, he's going to be tied up with Wilder in that courtroom for God knows how long. And that's the reality of the situation. He is. You can't set up, you try to set up a fight that's going to put an injunction and it's not going to happen. So somebody's going to invest funds or money into a fight that's just, that, you don't even know if it can happen. One person has 100% full control of it. That judge, they're not going to do it. It makes no sense whatsoever. There's zero sense whatsoever. So I guess, those who believe it's going to happen, those who believe it's quote official, I guess over time, they'll see what the reality of everything is. And then number two, they said that supposedly it's a contract where they have to get, where they quote agreed on everything. But then they signed off on everything, but now all they have to do is go find an investor. Now all they gotta do is find somebody that'll put up the money in order to have the fight. That is the most moronic thing I've ever heard of in my life. Okay, the number one thing that you have in place before you do anything when it pertains to a fight is you get the money. Period. The number one thing you do is get the money. You don't sign a contract to fight a fighter and then ask for the money. Did Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua sign a contract to fight Deontay Wilder and then ask for the money? When Deontay Wilder's team said, "Hey, we got $50 million for you," and they actually had the money and they had it in escrow, but did what's the name just say, "Oh no, here we go. All right, yeah. Now give us the money." No. With any fight with Terrence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao, did they sign a contract and then now what's it called? What's his name? Bob Arum is out now looking for the money. Is that how they did it? No. Manny's like, nah, I'll fight him. Give me my $40 million you said you'll give to me. You give me my $40 million and then I'll fight you. But I need my $40 million. Get that, then we can see what's up. Cool, I ain't got no problem fighting him. Just give me my money. The number one thing you're going to want is those funds to be set before you do anything. It has to be in place. When Anthony Joshua went to fight in Saudi Arabia against Andy Ruiz, that money was set before any contracts were signed. Before anything was signed, that money was there, ready to go. It's the number one thing you do is have that money in place. So to say that, oh, that's the last thing we're doing, we're getting all this situated, then we're going to go get the money. And I'm confused. I thought they already had investors who were already willing to put up the money, who had, quote, already put up the money. What happened to that? And they want to make sure that they get their whatever on return. No. If anybody that's in Saudi Arabia or whatever it is, if they were to put up money for a fight like that, they're putting up money for a fight like that just because they want to have it, at their complex or in their country, and they just want to. I'm gonna show these other princes, other princes. You know what I'm saying? How I ball. I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna bring in one of the biggest events that that this country can have right now. Just because I can do it. I'm going to show them that I can do it. I can get two of the biggest boxers in the world, and I'm just going to have them over here. They're doing it just to do it, because they're not making any money off of it. You saw how many people were in the crowd with Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. They didn't get any money back from that. They built a whole stadium from scratch in like a couple of weeks just to hold the event. Just because he wanted to do it. Just because the guy wanted to do it. He just wanted to hold the event. He wanted, those two to fight. Then he wanted his son, Anthony Joshua, the winner, holding his son at the end of the match, so they can take pictures and stuff like that. That's all he wanted. And he just put the money up. This would be that type of situation. People aren't going to it doesn't, even if there wasn't all this going on in the world, people aren't going to Saudi Arabia to see that fight. They're not. There'll be a sparse crowd, and then people in the country, they're not into boxing like that. So you have a couple of wealthy princes that would be in there watching it, and some of their friends, but that'll be about it. There wouldn't be that many people. It's not a big thing over there. Boxing's not a big thing over there, and those two guys are not big. There's nobody from their country that they're rooting for, that they're really going to want to see. So it'd be an empty arena anyway. So you're not making the money back. You're not getting the money back. And people aren't flying into that region necessarily like that, especially now when they got the little conflicts going on around there. It's not happening. Just like, not a lot of people showed up to Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua. It would be the same type of thing. Not that it's not a big fight, but for there, it's not a big fight. It's not a big fight. You put Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford over here, in Dallas Stadium, you can put in 40,000, 50,000 people. You take that fight to Saudi Arabia, A couple thousand to show up, 1,000, 2,000, maybe. If you're lucky, probably even not that, a couple hundred, 800, 900. But nobody knows him over there. Nobody knows him over there. But over here, it's a big fight. It's a huge fight. You know? So that holds, all investors wanting to quote, put the money up so that when they can get the money back. And even over here, you're not making that money back in the United States. Those guys are not popular in the United States. They're not. You connect Wilder to any one of them, then yes, you will make, you will make funds off that because people here are vested in Deontay Wilder. So you put him into the equation. Yes, a fight with either one of them makes a substantial amount of money. But those two together fighting here, it's not a big fight. Neither one of them is a big star over here. I mean, the only thing that you could probably do is, let's say if everything was open, you could maybe have the fight in New York, and since it's only a 6-hour flight, have a lot of people from the UK fly down to see the fight. I mean, maybe you can do that. But when it comes to, you're not making money off of it as far as pay-per-views in the United States. You're not having fans go to the fight. You might get, 2,000, 3,000, maybe get 3,000 people. 3,000 for the rest of them are going to end up having to be all UK fans. So, which with a 6-hour difference, I believe they can fill up a place probably with UK fans. But that's not something that's even available. I mean, technically you can do it in Florida though. Florida's open, but no one's putting up $100 million. You're not making that back. You're taking a major loss. You're not making anything close to that. You're taking a ridiculous loss. So no one's putting up $100 million for that fight. If somebody from the UAE, whatever, was putting it up, they would already put it up. Because this thing happening doesn't really matter. It just doesn't matter. And as far as the United States, they weren't making money off that here like that regardless. No one's putting in anything close to that. It's just not that big of a fight. Over here in the UK, monstrous. But they're stuck. Ticket prices, they can only put a certain amount. They can only have it go up so high. Pay-per-views, they can only have it go up so high. And Tyson Fury doesn't have a license there, so he can't fight there anyway. But, I guess we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks, as time goes on. But it's moronic at this point. It's kind of like, this guy's stuck in court until, that's figured out. He can't do anything. And Anthony Joshua, they have him basically waiting around. He's going to fight his mandatory in his next fight. That's actually what's going to happen. But I believe they do want things, see if things can open up a little bit, though. And they want to see if they can maybe have a fight, maybe like during the summer, where they can make some kind of money off a gate. But that's going to be his next fight. Wilder versus Tyson Fury. They're going to be fighting each other. And Anthony Joshua is going to be fighting Usyk. That's what's going to happen. And Eddie Hearn, regardless of if Wilder Tyson Fury was free, Eddie Hearn still would not have his boy fight, Tyson Fury regardless. He's not having a fight Tyson Fury. He's not having a fight Wilder. He's not doing that. He's waiting for that Sky deal to be open. And he's going to try to sign a massive-ass deal with DAZN. And he can't afford to have that dude lose again. You know what I'm saying? It's too much money in the line. But we'll see what happens. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.